begging food in the streets, risking their lives under the continued shellings and bombing.
What the? That's CNN interviewing the major of the Azov Regiment. Hey, CNN is taking their fascist antics up to a whole new level this week. They decided that they would, just interview a leader of the Azov Battalion on their show. The Azov Battalion, of course, is that well-known Nazi faction within the Ukrainian military. It's been officially a part of the Ukrainian military for quite some time. And just in case you're not sure, you've heard about the Azov, I've heard about the Azov Regiment Battalion, but what really is this Azov Battalion? Is it really neo-Nazi? Is it really fascist? Is it really bad that CNN is publicly interviewing one of the leaders of the Azov Battalion? Yes, no, it is really bad. So the Azov Regiment, their symbols are the wolf's hook and the black sun. Just so happens that those were the symbols used by Hitler's SS in World War II. I mean, the Azov Battalion was completely financed and given weaponry and supported by the Ukrainian state, the US, the UK. Obama gave a lot of weapons and a lot of support to the Azov Battalion. There was members of Congress, brave members of Congress, who spoke out and said that they wanted to officially declare the Azov Regiment as a fascist, Nazi, terrorist force. But the Obama administration was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to send them weapons instead. The Azov Regiment is the group of people that has been slaughtering civilians in the Donbass for the past 8 years. They killed 14,000. They're responsible for an asymmetric warfare, which killed 14,000 people. 25% of those people were civilians, and the vast majority of the civilians were killed by Azov. The Obama administration infamously couped the sitting president of Ukraine in 2014. Victoria Nuland played the main role in that. And they replaced the sitting president, who was a neutral force, between Russia in the east and the U.S. They replaced him with a guy named Petro Poroshenko. He was the president in Ukraine just up until a few years ago. And he actually praised the Azov Battalion at an awards ceremony in 2014, declaring them Ukraine's best warriors. Eventually, the militia was officially integrated into the Ukrainian National Guard, where they now sit. But Azov is more than just a militia. Time magazine actually did a whole story on how they're a mass white supremacist movement and force in Ukraine currently. It has its own political party, 2 publishing houses, summer camps for children, and a vigilante force known as the National Militia, which patrols the streets of Ukrainian cities alongside the police. Its militia wing has at least 2 training bases and a vast arsenal of weapons, from drones and armored vehicles to artillery pieces. It's an entire mass movement and political body. And its leaders, of course, are some of the most anti-Semitic, neo-Nazi, ideological inheritors of people like Stefan Bandera, who killed hundreds of, collaborated with legitimate Nazis, German Nazis, during World War II in Ukraine. Stefan Bandera was Ukrainian. He welcomed the Nazi invasion of Ukraine as liberation, and he collaborated with the Nazis to slaughter hundreds of thousands of Jews, Poles, and Russians during World War II. And the U.S. CIA provided cover for him after the war. This is who they are. This is who they are. And, take a look at this. CNN is just casually interviewing the major of the Azov forces now. UN war displaces 1 in 5 Ukrainians. Let's go to comment for Major Denis Prokopenko, Ukrainian National Guard of the Azov Regiment. Let's see what he had to say. It's like everyone knows that fascism rises out of like liberal austerity corporate politics and fascist politics that suppress, true workers' movements. And like, what has CNN done over the past several weeks? First of all, past several years, they silent any and all dissent with regard to COVID, with regard to Russiagate. They smear the trucker convoy, the U.S. trucker convoy, and the Canadian trucker convoy as fascist, terrorists, yada, 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 saying that they are the root of all evil in the world, and they're suppressing a true workers' movement. And now they're just taking, the step we all knew was coming, one step further, and they're interviewing actual fucking Nazis. For like not calling them Nazis, but like saying like, oh, we're gonna go to comment, for like we're here supporting them and we're going to comment to see what the Nazis have to say.
Now, CNN has spoken with a commander, a Ukrainian military commander, who's been defending the city from the siege. Take a listen to what he sent us a day ago.
People are cooking food in the streets, risking their lives under the continued shellings and bombing, and the temperature is minus 5 degrees Celsius in the street. Killing the civilian, the amount of victims grows every day.
We are just trying to get back to our job of killing innocent, civilians in Donetsk and Luhansk. We need to purge Ukraine of non-Ukrainians, and we need to purge Ukraine of all the Russians and Poles and Jews. And this is what the Azov regiment was built to do, what we are funded to do, and this is what we will do.
Now it is more than 3,000, but nobody knows the exact amount because people are buried together in the same dump with no names. Many bodies are just outside the streets without being buried.
We are very frustrated that the Russian forces who are again liberating our country and denazifying our country, they already did it to us once back in World War II. They liberated our country from Nazi rule. But we are back with vengeance, and now we are very frustrated again as they are beginning to denazify our country. It is if they have some grudge with Nazism. Clearly, you folks, you kind folks at CNN, do not have any grudge with Nazism. You're coming to me for comment, but these Russians, they have such a problem with Nazis. It's really quite troubling.
Buried. Some of people are under the ruined buildings, buried alive. Ukrainian army is trying to help civilians with food and water, but it's not enough. There is no safety places for people in Mariupol. The missiles of the...
They have seized our Nazi forces and headquarters. We have nowhere to go. People are cooking food in the streets. It's very cold out here, and we don't know what to do. The Russians have completely obliterated all neo-Nazi Azov headquarters and barracks, and we are struggling quite deeply. So we request to you, American public, U.S. Congress, Joseph R. Biden, please send more military support and weaponry to us, the neo-Nazi Azov regiment. We need it quite deeply.
The enemy are attacking the houses and people are dying in their beds.
What the fuck? That's CNN interviewing the major of the Azov regiment. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. At first, they were like, listen, folks, the Azov, the Nazis, they're really not that bad. The New York Times, Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, Ana Kasparian, Majority Report, Sam Cedar, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. Stop making a big deal about all the Nazis in Ukraine. Now they're just like, and now we're going to go to comments to the major of the Azov forces to see what he has to say about the current conflict of denazification in Ukraine and what the U.S. can do to support them. Please, I need to speak directly to the American people. Please send tattoo removal technology. The Russian denazification forces, the Chechens, are coming in and they are identifying all Nazis by way of looking at our tattoos and removing our shirts and pants to see if we have Nazi tattoos as a part of the denazification process. Please immediately send as many tattoo removal machines as possible. I know you have many. Please send them all to Mariupol right now. Is this real life? Is this really happening? Is this what we're doing now? Okay. We're literally living in such a fucking insane time.